Hello Arachnids and Cephalopods, my name is MasterOfRoflness, and today I give you the glimpse into the future of Europa Universalis IV. Our great and glorious leaders, the Paradox dev team, have announced through their high thrones that a new expansion pack is in the works called Conquest of Paradise. Now, this will add in a bunch of new gameplay features and content that will make exploration and colonization of different areas of Europa Universalis a lot more fun. First and foremost, they're going to add in a randomized North American and South American continent. So pretty much beforehand, the players would always knew that in Europa Universalis IV, once you moved a little bit west, just a little bit, past the Atlantic Ocean, you'd find North America and South America. Well, what the Paradox dev team is planning to do is, instead of having it only be North America and South America, they're going to bring a little bit of randomization into the mix by allowing you to choose between having a randomized North American and South American continent, or just a randomized continent, and then you can also choose between the vanilla Europa Universalis IV North American and South American continent, which is actually a pretty good damn idea. I do love randomized maps. I love randomized areas, and honestly speaking, it adds more replayability to Europa Universalis IV as a whole. And I think this is a really good idea. In fact, they can maybe even take it a step further in future expansion packs and allow for the entire planet to be randomized, which would actually be pretty good. I would love that quite a bit. So anyway, another new feature that they're going to add into this game would be more Native American factions. This was a big problem for a long time in Europa Universalis IV. The Native American factions, there were very little of them, and you only really chose between either the Inca or the Aztecs because they were so OP in the Native American scheme of things. Well, they're going to add in about 24 new Native American factions, which should allow the game to be a lot more varied in the Native American sphere of Europa Universalis IV, as well as they're going to add in new Native American gameplay mechanics, a chance to form federations, events, ideas, buildings, and maybe even new technologies that will maybe allow the Native Americans to actually beat back the scourge of Europeans coming into their lands, which is actually pretty cool. Another new little feature that they've also added in was managing your overseas colonies and having your overseas colonies become nations of their own. This is something that has always been lacking in Europa Universalis IV, is that when you colonize an area of the map, whether it be Africa, America, Indonesia, whatever, it's always part of your territory automatically. And it never routes, it never betrays you, it just stays like that. And it's a little bit weird. It is a little bit weird. So now they're going to add in a new feature which will allow you to form colonies, but these colonies are basically their own nations. They can declare war on Native Americans, they can trade with other powers, they can get money, they can colonize even more territory, and they'll even try to rebel and strive for liberty from their motherland, which is actually a pretty good gameplay mechanic, actually. Now, instead of having colonies and just not worrying about them, now you have to worry about, oh my 150 colonies all over the planet are now routing at the same time. What do? I've created Africa. So, pretty much it adds in this whole gameplay mechanic of you have to hold your empire together. And it's pretty awesome. It is. And you can also choose between letting the colony go and become its own nation, or actually strangleholding the colony. And honestly speaking, it just adds in a lot more depth into the game as a whole. Of course, with this new expansion pack, they will add in also new map modes, playable factions, colonial nations, and a ton more. And they also plan to add in more features to Crusader Kings 2. Interestingly enough, if you do not own the expansion pack, and you're playing a multiplayer match with someone who does own it, you'll be able to use the same features that the person that owns the expansion pack will use. So, it seems like Mr. Paradox dev team, or Mrs. Paradox dev team, actually understand how to use expansion packs better than most other companies. Eh? All in all, I think the expansion packs are awesome for Europa Universalis IV as a whole, and I think this new one is going to add in a ton of shit, and it's going to be amazing. And honestly, I just love this whole alternative history sort of thing that Europa Universalis is going. And I wish they could continue with this. Maybe dinosaur expansion pack, caveman expansion pack, steampunk, future, anything. They can go crazy with this game. They literally can. And I wish they went far and beyond. But until then, This is a first step to possibly a really fun experience as a whole for grand strategy gamers and strategy gamers alike. My name is MasterOfRoflness, and subscribe and like the video if you enjoy videos like this, as well as if you like this individual video. And I'll see you fuckheads later. Bye bye.